We're live now, are we? Yep, we're live.
We're live.
2 minutes. We are live. All right. So, welcome everyone to another episode of Entre Nos. I want to welcome to a very different. We worked together like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I met this young professional 6 years ago, and we were selling timeshare.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to make some money. And something that really got my attention from Alex, and I'm going to do the good introduction, but it was that he was always hungry and he was always ready to learn, to do whatever it took to make some money and to provide for his family, because he was, I want to say, 22, 23 years old. But I want to welcome you, Alex, to this podcast. I know real estate has a lot of podcasts, very good podcasts about how to do real estate and listings and FISBOs and scripts. But this is more to share our real life struggles, dreams, goals. And because usually when you see most of the agents share social listings, our wins, are under contracts, are happy buyers, happy sellers, which is fine. But people don't know what we do to get there.
Yeah.
People don't know what we have to go through and what we need to learn in order for us to win a listing or to help a buyer.
Right.
And for some reason, or maybe many reasons, our industry has been underestimated.
Yep.
And people sometimes think like, oh, realtors make a lot of money and they don't do. And I say shit. Right? And that's like, you make a lot of money, you don't do too much. Like, are you kidding me?
No idea.
Except when you get a listing, it's like, oh, that's a lot of money that I'm making. Yeah, that's a lot of money that I'm investing in a house.
Right.
Because we spend a lot of money. There's a lot of agents that we think we're doing great.
Right.
And we see the numbers and we have those transactions. At the end of the day, you see their account and it's not that big.
Right. There's a lot of expenses that go
A
into it.
lot of expenses. We don't have insurances. We don't have 401k. And we have to pay for our offices. We have to pay for marketing, everything.
Right.
So that check of $10,000, $15,000, $20 at the end of the day,
It's not that much.
it's not that much. So that's why I created this space, because I want people to know us as a person, as professionals, what we go through, how we balance our life, if there's a balance between work and family. You're a young dad. How this journey has been for you. So Alex Porras is with me today. We worked together, like I said, almost 6 years ago, selling hamsters, and I'm so glad that you took the real estate path. You're doing great. You work investor, you're trying, or you're an investor and trying to build very I want to say wealthy future for your family, which I admire you for that. So Alex, welcome. Bienvenido. We're gonna do some Spanish here, and one of my podcasts called Entre Nos, between us, because nobody's gonna know what we're gonna share. We're just live. So you can share anything you want.
Okay.
About your life. Who are, where are you coming from? Why real estate? How it's been this for you? Your struggle, wins, your dreams. Where are you going? You're only 30. You're so young. Oh my God. Okay. So let's start again.
Thank you.
Share with us a little bit about you. Where are you coming from? And how did you start with real estate?
So I moved to this country in 2000. I was 6 years old. I came from Venezuela.
Wow.
And I grew up here in Hunters Creek. So I grew up literally down the street. And as I grew up here, I knew that I didn't want to Orlando. I loved Orlando. I met my wife here. And then in 2016, met her. 2017, we moved out. And midway, 3 months after, I found out I was having a kid.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very surprised. We were young. It was 19, 20 at the time.
Oh my God.
And I was 22, 23. And I knew I had to produce. I had nothing going for my life. I was living a different life. I played a band. We were playing shows in Orlando that make money on that.
Yeah.
That's
You
your
were having fun.
fun, yeah, the whole time. And I knew how to make a change. And my mom was like, "Go on real estate." And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And I got into real estate. It took me like 6 months to get my license. I don't think anybody says it's not. It's doable, but it takes time and commitment. And I wasn't good at taking tests.
Yeah.
I felt like
And you were young.
yeah.
You were like, oh, whatever, maybe.
Yeah, literally, it was hard, but got it done. And I had no idea what I was gonna do. I knew that getting into general real estate was a bit harder than going into timeshare. I did timeshare and all for about a year.
Yeah.
And it was fun, but it was
Crazy.
it was different. Yeah,
It was different.
it's a lot, but it teaches you.
So it's cool.
Very good. It teaches you how to sometimes when there's a lot going on. It teaches you to speak to different personalities.
Yeah.
And opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I never made the money I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I was able to do it for about a year. That's where I made it. That was the last run at the
Holiday in Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, it was a nice resort, beach.
Nice group of people.
It really was.
Yeah.
The manager.
Yes. I went to one, and it was a complete story. I mean, that was kind of like the time about, like, you know, when people didn't help you, but our group very nice. I did it too, and I learned a lot about getting to know people and how to talk to different types of people, and I think that was a big thing. But I knew I got my real estate license to do real estate.
Yeah.
I did timeshare because the same thing, I needed to provide for my family.
Yeah.
So, and after that, what happened? Because then I heard you when you were doing real estate and investments, and how happened?
When I left timeshare, it was because we got back to my parents' house.
Okay.
And I spent there 6 months. And my parents did everything they did to the house warm and welcoming. We needed our own space.
Yeah.
So I moved out. The next day, huge. I had the back, and at the time I had those jobs, so I was like, "Good, I'm good for 3 months." And then and went from $10,000 to $100 because all my discounts. And I had to put all my money into the deposit paying for my So a week later, I said I can't keep driving an hour every day.
Yeah.
Not making money.
Yeah.
And I talked to them, and I told them that I wouldn't be coming back. That would be my 2 weeks. So I just finally tried. I was doing this at the time. I started working in call center because I thought that it make me fast.
Your baby already.
I had a baby. I had a at that point, 7-month-old baby at the time. My wife, which it was a lot. It was a hard time, being honest.
Yeah.
From there, I started hustling, and then my mom came in the picture. She said, "Hey, look, there's this new homes job," and I'm like, "It's in Sanford." She said, "Just go. You don't know what's gonna happen."
Yeah.
Anyway, I tried.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is 2019. I go to like beautiful mall. You know, when you walk into a mall, it's this gorgeous kitchen, huge living room. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. And I think I was one of the first people there. And it was an open house for, I guess, real estate.
Yeah.
Walk in, and about 30 more agents walk in, all looking for a job. And I said,
Oh my God.
and a lot of these agents all they do is post about everything that's going good. I've done this, I've done that, and I'm like, I've never done real estate. Yeah.
Wow.
And then everybody had a talk. I think at that point it was pretty good. I could BS way through a couple of things and I could say a couple of things to make myself sound.
Yeah.
And the first thing I said is, my name is Alex, and I never sold real estate in my life, a house in my life. And everybody started laughing. And then I just went back into what I've done.
Yeah.
And out of those 30 people, 4 got picked. I was one of them. And out of the 4, I was the one that made it out of training.
So for all those agents that sometimes we think that, oh, this is not for me, or I don't have enough experience, or there's a top producer right next to me and I have no chance to win. That's not true.
No. You just have to keep going at it. Persevering, follow your leads. Follow up is huge. Work your deals. Not anybody, but a lot of people can do this. I think a lot of people, they have the brain. I don't know if brain is right, but if they have the determination.
Yeah.
They can do it in the industry. It's not easy, but it's doable. If it's doable when you get it done, it's very rewarding.
I think it's just believe. I think a big word for me is believe and faith.
Yeah.
If you believe in yourself, I never know one house, 30 people that they will like, oh, I close a year or 40 or this and whatever. Of course, good, you impress. What do you think about that?
I think because I thought I was, I think that, but I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I think my manager saw that at the time saw that I come with bad habits, so that she could.
Yeah.
And when I went, I didn't touch a sales floor for 2 months. I had the training and I was happy with it just because I learned, and then my feet started running or walking too. But I think, to be honest,
Wow. So you're with new construction.
yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
And then,
Once I started new construction, I did my training.
I'm going to just move a little more because I want the people to see you.
Sure.
Okay.
There.
There you go.
I started in new construction 2019. 31st day before Christmas. 2020.
Okay.
And my first household, didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about pre-approving something.
But you got it sold.
I got it sold. That's all I cared about. I told the girl that was training me, which we're still friends. I was like, I need to know. All right, cool. So the guy bought his house, or we went under contract. In the pandemic, and then everything shut down. We got them. They said, you guys can work from home. That's pretty much what it is. I got crazy. What was going on?
Yeah.
I saw there was a toilet. Focus. But I was just like, what I lose?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
And March came about, and I'm like, oh my god, this is great. We started once a week. We started doing 2 houses a week.
Yep.
It was insane. I think it spoiled me a little because
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was
You were
crazy.
selling like crazy.
There's a key. And I'm saying this from one place because there was months where I wouldn't make $1 selling anything.
Yeah.
More than a couple months actually, and those were doing 40 a month between me and
Wow.
40 houses. And I'm like, and I thought that was normal. I didn't understand the concept because it was just focused on what's next.
Why didn't I do this before?
Yeah, me too.
Right.
I was, yeah.
But in life,
Yeah. And it's for a reason.
yeah.
While I was doing it there, we can scatter lots. So I was like,
Yeah.
it's communities, it's just lots where a big subdivision and you just buy spot lots, and then that's where we built. At that point right now, and the company I work for is telling us I don't have resources to go buy lots. We have to. And I said, well, then we can't sell. And at that point, I was like, well, what if I find the lots? You give me points on what I need to do, and I'll go buy and I'll go buy them, and you guys buy them, but I'll go find them.
Yeah.
And what I started doing. We didn't have the land, so we went out and looked for it and we found the land. And I told people there was such a waiting list. So the interest rates were so low.
Yeah.
So I found land for them. That's how my system started.
Wow, that's crazy. But you see, a lot of people, like pandemic or COVID or whatever, like now 2024 was a hard year for a lot of realtors.
Yeah.
And you don't, I need to learn how to find, because that's what we need now.
Yeah.
What if you stayed saying, oh, there's no land, there's no more houses to sell, I'm just gonna wait for somebody to do that job. But you went and it's like, okay, I'm gonna find this.
Yeah, and it's funny because back then it was a big team that I worked with. Out of 20 people, half of them were so disgruntled. They didn't want to put the extra work. They didn't want to go to what they didn't have to do
Exactly.
in order to make money. Well, we don't have any land. I will figure it out. Like you're saying, they'll buy land.
And there's a lot of land in Florida.
There's so much land. There's so much. Like figure it out, but it's easier to complain and sit on your butt and not willing to really put in the work.
And then you learned a new skill.
That was my favorite part. I still use it to this day.
That's what I was gonna ask. So now what do you do? Because you learned about construction with company, and then you learned about land and empty lots and all that stuff. And now your business, you're using those skills right now.
Yeah, literally. Honestly, I think it was the best thing that could have happened. Because so I started finding land, right? And they started purchasing, and I'm getting the grasp of it. Now what I do is when I left that company to be on my own, after it was a commitment, and it was nerve-wracking because I had such a stability there.
Yeah.
Gone up in the company, I was training.
And you were in your comfort zone, kind of.
100%. Nobody bothered.
And making good money.
I was making good money. I had an office, and I had a schedule, but I didn't have to be there. Whereas everybody else, it wasn't given to me. I earned my spot. I worked hard for it. So I mean, at that point, I was like, all right. Once I left, I said, well, what can I do? And I knew that land was a big opportunity. So I started a land company, and I said I find land and I sell it to builders, and that's how I met my partner actually.
And I'm gonna say something here. Did your family or your wife or your mom or friends or your coworkers say, "Are you crazy?"
All of my coworkers did. Every single one. He's like, you're here, you have your spot, you're in a good area. That I know, but I'm not fulfilled. And even the company that I worked for was great. Like they were phenomenal. I just knew that it wasn't my long-term goal. My wife said, if you trust yourself, I have faith in you.
She was always like that with you,
Always.
I remember.
Yeah, that's my rock. That's the home. That's my best friend.
Wow.
My mom said the same thing. She's like, I believe in you. You'll figure it out. And my dad has always been supportive. You're gonna do great.
Your dad
Don't
was
even
a
think
good
about
friend. Always remember you
Yeah.
tell us about your dad.
My-
And yeah.
Yeah, my dad was. He always had my back. Doesn't matter what it was, and believed in me. Even the hard times he was there, the good times he's here. With my daughters, he's great.
Oh,
He's yeah. It's been great, and they believed in me. My family had my back 100%,
and then you went your way.
and I left, and I didn't look back. Yeah, and I started looking for land, and that's how I met my partner now, the one that builds houses.
And what do you do now?
So I'm a full-time realtor. I
Mhm.
work with clients. Part of I would say my biggest, yeah, most of my clients right now are investors. People that are from the U.S.
Yeah.
that are looking to put money in Florida. A lot of people from California
Yeah.
that don't really, they want to find a way to pay less taxes.
Right.
And a lot of them qualify for cost segregations, and they want to put money in Florida. So I help them out with that. While at the same time, I have this. It's a small company because it's just me and my wife.
Yeah.
But I find land and I sell it to builders. So like my business partner, the one Brock, he builds houses. I'll give him lots, the ones that he
And
likes,
he builds.
and he builds.
And you sell them.
And I sell. He sells them on his own too,
Yeah.
because he has his own set of clients that he's worked for years. So
Wow.
nothing exclusive, but we work phenomenal together.
The biggest. We're gonna start with the negative part. I'm not a negative person, but what's been the biggest or I want to say negative thing that sometimes put you to think, should I keep doing this or should I quit? Or what's been the biggest moment maybe in your life that you said, you know what, this is not for me?
I don't know if I've hit that. I know that I've hit points where I think I need to go back to what I was doing before, where it's comfortable. But I knew that I wanted to stay in real estate. I had in the same day, I think it was 4 deals that fell through, and they're not small deals. I mean, in total it was like 80 grand that I make
Oh, in one day.
in one day. In one day, one fell through because I couldn't divide the lot that I wanted to build, so we can build 2 houses, and I was buying that one out of pocket. And then a lot that I had bought. And I went to New York. I'll tell you about that one. That was one of my favorite deals that I've done. It fell through. It all in was like 80,000. And in one day, everything fell through. I had no buyers. I had everything under contract. I had money in the deals. And I said, well, you know what, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Let's go on to the next. But for a minute, I just sat in my office in my house. I was like, what am I gonna do? And then I do have a supportive wife, and she came in. Well, let's think this.
That's so important.
Huge. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Because in one day, $80,000 that you were losing, $80,000 that was going to be in your pocket
That was
for your family.
That's how I feed my family. Yeah.
And you lost it in one day.
Yeah. I had plans what I was gonna do with that money. They were quick closes too. I mean, I think the furthest closest was 70 days, 60 to 70 days. So it wasn't that I had to wait a whole year. And it was cool because I generated those. I had it all lined up.
And you did a lot of work to get to that point.
Yeah. At so the New York deal, I met this lady, cold calling.
Mhm.
I think that's the best way to find leads, even till 2020.
Yes.
Cold calling is the way to go.
That's my thing. I say when real estate agents want to do a lot of business,
Yeah.
and they want to have a real business, we have to pick up the phone and call people. Some people say like, oh no, those are like the old ways, and you see on Instagram or Facebook, you don't have to call. You can do everything online. Yes, online is perfect. Social media, I love it. But that's your brand. How many deals do you close from Instagram or Facebook? Maybe a few you could. But when you start calling, you can close deals every week.
Yeah.
right?
100%.
So you met this girl. You were cold calling.
Yeah,
This person from
yeah.
New
I was
York.
calling. It was, yeah. It was I was cold calling. I probably went through like 4 hours of cold calling. I had a little bit easier because I had a dialer, so I don't have to go one by one. But I digress. I met this lady. She said, "I have this lot." She's like, "I am interested in selling it." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm interested in buying it." This particular lot, I was gonna host. I was gonna keep
Okay.
because I wanted to build a property in it.
Okay.
And I told my business partner I had everything lined up. Anyways, so I give her a call, but she's like a little bit flaky. But I know that it's really her because she sent me her ID. I'm looking at the property appraisal website, so I knew that it wasn't fake. And there was a good bit of money to be made. And so I told her, I was like, "Listen, I want to do the deal, but I needed some sort of commitment from you." This was on a Monday. So I'm gonna be in New York on a Friday. Would you like to meet and have coffee? I never met this lady before in my life.
Wow. And you went to New York because you were going for something else,
No.
or you went for that deal?
For that deal.
Okay.
I went for that deal. At that point, my wife said, "Is she real?" I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Where are you gonna meet?" I was like, "Somewhere public," because I'm not gonna go to her house. I'm not going to nobody's house at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, she said, "All right, I'm gonna meet you at a coffee shop in Midtown." I think it was. I said, "All right, I'm gonna be there at 9:00. We can meet at 10:30." I didn't have a ticket booked. I didn't have anything. So after she gave me the commitment, I texted her one more time. I was like, "Hey, I just want to make sure because I'm buying the ticket that we're gonna meet and that we will meet, that we're gonna make this go through." She said, "You have my word." I was like, "All right, cool." So I buy my ticket. I fly out 8 in the morning. I get to LaGuardia at 9:30. I'm by the city by 10. I find the coffee shop where I was at. I try to get there 30 minutes early because I didn't want to, I just wanted to make sure I knew where I was going. And I want to make sure I was the first one there so I could see her walk in and then I can be like, "Hey, it's me." I get there, I order coffee, and she goes in. And she was a real person, looked exactly like her photo. We got the deal done. I got it signed. And then as soon as I'm ready to get out, she tells me, "Hey, I have my aunt that owns a property in and she doesn't want to, and she wants to get rid of it. She's 90 years old, but it needs work." All right, let me see what I can do. And I ended up leaving the day with 2 deals. And that's a flip that I'm working on.
Wow, that's it. You see, and sometimes I'm just surprised of, and this is nothing against generation, but like you're young, you're 30, you're a millennial. Yeah. So right now, senior agents think that millennials don't have the same work ethics that senior ones. That's kind of a belief.
Yeah.
And then young professionals, they want everything quick. They don't believe in cold calling. They don't believe in doing things that we used to do years ago. And here you are going against those beliefs.
Yeah.
Like you're still doing things that agents used to do 20 years ago. But at the same time, you're doing things that maybe senior agents shouldn't do it. Like, "Hey, I'm getting on the flight and going to New York to meet this person that I don't even know."
Yeah.
Like, because usually when you start real estate, everybody tells you need to pre-qual your buyer first, and you need to do this, make sure that this is pre-approved, and this, otherwise don't even show a property.
Yeah.
I remember that. And I was like, I want to meet the person before I say no, right, even if they don't qualify.
Because they can qualify in a couple months.
Exactly. Maybe they don't qualify now, they qualify in the future, or maybe their friend is going to buy a house, but at least you know the person or you meet the person. But you went to New York to meet this person that you didn't even know that was real or not. And you got 2 deals.
Yeah.
Wow. And what is the biggest, or I should ask, how do you feel with what you have done for your family? How do you feel as dad, as husband, as son, as friend, as a person, a professional? How do you feel right now?
I feel good. but the work's not done. I got a lot more to do, and I want. There's a lot more to do. But this past year has been challenging, and I've had to smell the roses because I look back and like the deal fell through, and I have to remember, oh look, I'm on my own. I'm on my own. I got to look for the future, and look what I've done. So I got to take a step back and smile. And when I do actually take a step back and smell the roses, I feel accomplished. I feel good. But there's a lot more to be
You
done.
still kind of like with ups and downs in your
Yeah.
business. Still.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. And every step of the way.
Yeah, because I hear a lot of, I want to say coaches. There's some very good coaches. There are some other ones that are just, trying to coach other people. But they say, you need to aim for your business to be stable.
100%.
But if we are realistic, if we see our business, do we really want to be stable? Do we really want to be kind of like on a horizontal line, or we want to be ups and downs and challenging and make it learn more? Because every time you fail, you're going to learn something different.
It won't happen again.
And it maybe is going to be better for you.
Right.
So I'm a little kind of like, yeah, I do want to have a business that is always going to bring money or income to my family, but I do want a business that has some struggles and some like, it has to be fun, and it has to be challenging, because otherwise you're like, okay, I'm selling 4 houses a month, which is great, but then what else? So like now, what else is for Alex and your family? Because your wife is part of your business.
100%.
So what is coming next for you guys?
Well, I agree with you 100%, because first, when you have a straight line, you become complacent, you get lazy, and you don't learn. You don't continue to find ways to make the deal work, find ways to work for the deal, whatever the case is. 100%. And I'm still learning and struggling. Not struggling, but I want to say it's challenging, but the reward is so much better once you actually get it. So I'm at this point, I want to continue growing my business, my land acquisition business, to the point where the hardest part can run itself. Finding the land, so like a virtual assistant, because it does take time. But then I think this is where I'm stuck, because nobody puts the care and love that you put into your business, or the drive, right? Because you know that you have to make these calls. You pick up the phone. That's where you want to go. You want to get the deal. So that's what I'm working on, finding that balance. I want to continue working with investors and new investors, and sell my partner's properties, because I'm finding that when an investor buys, and I want to get into the South American market, and I want to work with buyers from there, because I'm finding that when investors buy, they get excited and they'll come back if their property is performing well. If they're seeing the growth in the area, which is important. And I want to continue building those relationships. That's my biggest goal.
The best part when you go with international buyers, because that's kind of my market. When you go with international buyers, and especially our culture as Hispanic, maybe a lot of people are like, oh, no, it's harder to have business with your own people. But it's not. Hispanics, we like trust, like everybody, but we Hispanics are more like, I need to talk to you face to face. I don't do business on the phone or Zoom or virtual. They do not believe on that. Okay. They want to talk to you, and they want to see your face, and they want to see where you're coming from, who your dad is, what your grandpa did. That's us. But once you get the trust, then it's for life. And they don't even ask you why, how, when. You are the one who's going to actually tell them, you know what, we should do this. This is good for you. They're going to say, yes, I'll do it. And And if you help one, you're going to help hundreds, because they're going to talk to the primo, to the abuela,
Tío.
to the vecino, to el
Yeah.
tío. Hey, you know, Alex, and everybody's going to start looking for
Yeah.
you. So that's a great, I love the market. Actually, I go to Colombia, I go
You do?
to Ecuador, I do events.
Wow.
And once you start getting, like, you know, the people to trust you and to know you, it's like they don't call anybody else. Like, no, I don't want to know anybody else.
It's amazing.
So it's great. And they don't know the system here. They don't know how to do business here. So you need to be like the person who's going to tell them every single thing, you know. And there's a lot of fraud out there. There's a lot of people doing not good things. So for them to trust is a big thing.
That's 100%.
That's a very nice market. And you speak
Nice.
Spanish, they, you know, they love coming and talk to you.
Yeah.
You take them to a nice restaurant to eat their food, and they are great. They're back again. There's a lot of America.
Yes.
A lot of money in South America.
Because the point of view, like
Yeah.
meeting,
Yeah.
relationship with
Yeah.
banks, with appraisers, inspectors.
With everybody. It's like I have a whole network, whole team. When I do my events, I go on a different, I travel to go to 4 cities.
Yeah.
You know,
Fine.
and fun. And I like when
Yeah.
I went to it for 2 weeks, and I went to Guayaquil, Quito, Manta, y Cuenca, my city.
Okay.
And I did in every single city in a nice hotel. So that was a lot of money to invest.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it was great. I loved it because I was in the country and every like home, I saw people that I went to school with, and they're my clients now.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Relationships are important.
You know what? I'm just gonna be very quick. So when I started real estate, I didn't start with timeshare. I was with a human. Didn't do too much. When I quit timeshare and I decided to go back to real estate, actually start real estate, my broker like, hey, you know, he was giving us a lot of, he was buying and getting, I was a closer, and you know, coming from timeshare, but I didn't know how to generate business. He was giving me the leads and COVID. Like, is this real estate? Perfect. Like, for, you know, okay, cool. Well, 6 transactions. Then he decided to stop. Okay, not anymore. And I was, okay, we do now. You need to look this way. I didn't even, I was like that, like use influence. I was like, speak Spanish or like I don't have family. I was new and I don't have too many friends, and most realtors like over 30,000 in Florida. So I was like, nobody's gonna buy from me. Not from here, not the neighborhoods. Sphere of influence. My friends, my family, they're in Ecuador. I'm like, bling, 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 bling. I told my cousins, and they primo. Oh, he has business in Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador. Like, I know you like to invest. You're doing very good. And he was so proud. You know how, like, oh yeah, negocio acá, mi negocio allá. And I was like, hey, you know, since you are always like for good opportunities, have you thought about investing in the US, real estate? He's like, yeah, but no tengo a nadie. I don't know anybody there.
Wow.
I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing. But I was a new real estate. I didn't know anything about investors, international. Like, what the hell is my primo gonna happen? You know, that's where my international business. My first client, cousin, so now I manage his property because I have a management company as well. So I can big properties, and he's like, okay, I got the property, pretty nice cousin. But he's like, but you know what? Look at my condo. I'm like, what? Put an Airbnb or whatever you want to do, but do something.
Wow.
And then I didn't know nothing about it. So, and I said, you know, sometimes we just don't see it. They do it. We see the result. We saw the business there. So, and going back to that, people don't do to make it happen. That's you just see your check or your commission when they get the final statements and they see buying or the listing, whatever amount is, and like, oh, they make a lot of money. Yeah, but
I don't know.
what you did before. So
You put into marketing,
money,
time, into
time,
everything.
time. So kind of like to end this, Alex, how do you want if your or what kind of legacy you want to leave for your kids?
Work hard. Your family comes first, and everything's gonna be okay in the end. You just have to figure it out. You just have to keep going.
Also,
That's it.
this book that says everything is figure. How do you say figurable? You can figure it out. Everything you can figure out.
Every problem in this life has a solution.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh no, I have to go and I don't do this work. You just keep doing it. Find a way of doing it. Find a way of doing it. It will happen. And just believe in yourself. Focus on what you want to do. And I am so happy, Alex, for you. I know you have a huge future. Just this with something that you want to leave to the realtors or real estate agents that are going through maybe some are questioning themselves or questioning about industry or maybe for me or thinking quitting or just that there's another level and there's always another level. So you want to leave something for those young and even students right now that they're struggling and they need something from a young professional that is been through completely different stages, timeshare, construction, land, investors, to be an investor yourself. How how can you help those agents just to move forward and keep fighting for it or keep doing it or just to figure it out?
One is the is don't give up. And two is find a mentor. Find somebody that is doing what you want to do, that's where you're at. Don't just ask them for help. Add value to their life. If they're that busy and they're doing successful, it's chances are they have a lot going on. So if you can find a way where you can add to their life while at the same time learning and getting it, that's key. Whether you're an old age, not an old age, but an experienced agent, it's okay to ask somebody who's younger for help.
Exactly.
It's okay to ask somebody else for help on the other. I always use this because my sister is years old. She's in her company, and there's people that are years old that she's training, and sometimes they have a hard time taking it from somebody younger. It's okay. We're all here to learn. Somebody else can teach that person about, for example, social media.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's fundamental.
That's a big thing. Find a mentor, find a coach, trying to learn every day something from somebody younger, older. It doesn't matter. It's just learning. And yes.
And when you add value to their life, or add value to their business, they're gonna want to teach you more because at the end of the day, they're getting something in return.
Yeah.
Add value to whatever you're doing.
Add value. There's a lot of agents. I'm not saying it's experienced or young or older, but agents that are busy and they need agents to show houses. Help them
Go.
go.
We're
And
here, people.
you just learn, and then you're gonna meet new people because you're gonna show houses to other people. You're gonna meet friends. You know, and that's where the business is at. So I thank you, Alex Porras. Tell us where people can find the name of your company if they have friends or family or maybe investors, because I know my channel goes everywhere.
Yeah.
That invest here in Florida, they're looking for a piece of land they want to build. Just tell us a little bit about your business and how to find you to help them doing that investment.
For sure. So on Instagram, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. At name is it's Alex Porras. And then I have from my Latin agriculture company, I have a www.𝗱investmentsflorida.com. And all of
Awesome.
our houses and lands is on there.
Awesome. Good luck, Alex, with all your businesses, with all your plans, goals, and dreams. And say hi. And your kids. You have 2 girls.
I have 2 girls.
Okay. You have to have a boy now.
I'm happy being a girl. I like being the.
Oh, so thank you, everyone. I hope this act is very for some agents or public to meet Alex and to see how we actually work every single day to have fun investors and to provide family, because that's the way it is. Yeah, that's supposed to be. So thank you, everyone. Okay, next month we're gonna have another one. That we just shared here, because this is just entre nos, between us, okay? Have a great day.
Thank you.
Awesome.